So we're here on the Lower East Side. I'm Rand Hoppy. I am founder, executive director of the Jack Kirby Museum.
And I'm Lisa Hoppy.
Lisa Hoppy, number one volunteer. We've got some other folks here. We're actually just kind of seeing if there's a if we're actually going live, which would be nice. But I'm not really sure whether it's happening or not. So that's one of our things. I don't think it's. Oh yeah, there we are. Great. All right. So we are live on YouTube. Thankfully, I'm going to assume that Facebook is working. Say hello. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you ask questions and say hi. Not yet. It's all about me right now. I'll turn the camera around in a second. But yeah, so we're gonna give folks a few minutes, and then we're gonna head off. All right, hello from Facebook. Fantastic, Tom. It's great that you were able to check in. That's good. I'm glad. So yeah, Lisa's watching on Facebook and seeing it on YouTube. So we're good. We kind of had a little bit of a glitch yesterday. What did we do yesterday?
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Everywhere.
We went to the island known as Long Island, and then we started out out in Nassau County, where Jack and Roz lived for 22 years, in East Williston for 20 years, and then Mineola, which is like 2 blocks away. You can tell the difference, how different it was, 2 blocks away, and in Nassau County. And when they moved to Mineola, it was across the street from Joe and Harriet Simon. So that was the Nassau County leg of our tours this weekend. And what did we do? Then we decided, since we weren't streaming to, which one failed? YouTube. We weren't streaming to YouTube. We decided to stop the stream because we had an hour-long drive over to Brooklyn, which is on Long Island. But New Yorkers are weird. People who live in Brooklyn say they're going to go to Long Island. It's the same island.
Oh, it's confusing.
It's confusing, and it's one of my favorite things to kind of mention every once in a while. So just bear with me.
A little reality.
Yeah, you know. Anyhow, so we drove over to Brooklyn, and we toured around Brooklyn. We had a great time there. Really cool to see a lot of the things that were in Brooklyn, and.
I'll give it to your handler.
All right, man. Yeah, my handler. Yeah. So yeah, we're here on the Lower East Side, and I'm about to turn the camera around. What do we got? Where are we? Yeah, we're probably gonna start this thing pretty soon. Okay, I'll get a camera around. Flip it. Okay. Oh look, it's Mike and Lois. Hey guys, that's Lois DeLivio, volunteer number 2. Mike Cicchini on the board. Laserman is the President Tom Kraft. Member number 1.1. Steve Meyer. Some of our guests. Hello, welcome. And yeah, so we're gonna start heading over to the Birthplace, and it's just like 2 blocks over that way. And I think it's just time to do it. It's 5 after 5. Let's go. Yeah, so we I had a ladybug on my arm. What do you know about that? Be nice to get into the shade. It's a little it's a hot summer sun. Oh, I'm taking it. Oh, thanks, Scott. We wish you were here too, man. Thank you. It's good to see you, Scott. So we are here on the Lower East Side. We're walking north on Essex Street, and let's. So there we are. There's our Kirby walking tour people, and we're going to go take a look at the Birthplace, take a stop. I've got a few stories to tell. Here's the show, and it'll be cool. Hi, Lisa. Oh, thank you. We love your dad. So great to hear from you, Lisa. So yeah, we're big fans of celebrating your dad and his work. That's for sure, and we appreciate all of the support you've given us over the years, helping us get started, keeping us going. Very cool. All right, so here we are still on Essex Street. We've got like another block to go, and it is the Lower East Side. It's a place that, well, I'm going to tell really. I got a little story that I'll be telling once we get there. I think is really the thing to do, even though I'm yammering away and vamping as we walk. And let's just. I guess I'll probably end up handing the camera and the gimbal over to Tom, just for fun. I've got the walk symbol, I'll take it. Yeah. The place has really changed a lot. Certainly went through some tough times. It was like so overpopulated and filled with poverty back in the time that Jack lived here and grew up here. I mean, it's completely understandable. It was, I believe he even called it inhumane, and it kind of was. Oh, that's right, Son of Noons. Yeah, I remember you saying that you did that. That's great, over on YouTube. So here we are. We're coming up on the location, and I'm gonna stop, and I guess I'll give the gimbal. So here we are. This is 147 Essex Street. Took us a while to figure out that it was this location, just because took a while for the birth certificate to appear. Hey Tom, you want to take this thing over? And there it is. Okay. So where's Lisa? Because you have the bag with the stuff. Bag with the printouts and the images and all this stuff. Okay. So this is the location. It's 147 Essex Street. We were thankful to be that when Lisa Kirby moved, and Lisa is, I think, watching or still watching, I don't know. She did say hello, which was great, that she found the birth certificate. So that was a big help, because once we didn't do that, all right, so the gimbal is not treating Tom very well. Hang on a sec, folks. Sorry about the trouble. So, yeah, I don't know. Just hold it steady like that, and try not to push buttons. I know you didn't, because it flops. I was on the bike tour. So anyhow, Lisa found the birth certificate, which nailed it at 147. We had one thing that we also had was we had his dad's registration for World War I. And this is all genealogical research, public records that are available. And it said 147 Essex Street in June of 1917. Here's the thing, people moved all the time. So we were like, well, they lived there in June, and his wife's pregnant. Are they going to move? Probably not. So we kind of, that was when we accepted the birthplace, because we did have a poor copy of the birth certificate at one point, and you could see that the 7 is a little bit looking like a 9. And we were like, well, what's going on there with that 7 and that 9? So we were very happy to finally see. We just decided, yeah, it's 147. So let's just accept that. And here are they. Here they are. There's little Jacob or Jacob Kurtzberg, and his parents Ben Kurtzberg and his mom Rose, and they were all from an area of Austria called Galicia, and it's kind of in Poland now. They did have a second child, David. Jack ended up being about 5 feet 6 inches. David was more than 6 feet tall. Is Jack's little brother. So that was they had an interesting dynamic, the brothers. But that was what was going on there. Now we don't. If you were to ask, we have interviews with Jack where Jack will say, "I was born on Essex Street, but I was raised on Suffolk Street." That's where we go next. But I just thought I would show you this tax record photo of this location here, and it's the storefront, of course, which we love, is what? Upholstered furniture by hackers. Wow. And last year when we did this, someone pointed out that the store in Commandy was called Sackers.
Nice.
So yeah. I'm sorry?
What year is that photo?
I think it's 39 or 40, I believe. You know, but yeah, it's yeah. The building next door is totally changed. That building is the same up above. That's the same up above. But yeah, this whole storefront. I mean, when I first discovered, like, there was definitely we really didn't know about 147 Essex for quite a while. We've been doing the museum since '05. And we really didn't know. I mean, we have a photo. Oh, yeah, sure. We have a photo of that I took of some of our cohort. We had a guy come in from Australia, so we met him and we walked around, and we thought it was like 67 Suffolk was where he was born. So we were way off base. So we're really happy that we finally were just like, yeah, it's, you know, Jack says he was born on Essex Street. We were able to nail the 147. This is. I've been in there. It's huge. Sure would make a lovely museum. You know, we all have dreams. But yeah, it's.
You know anyone with deep pockets?
You know anyone with deep pockets? We'd love to be able to work something out where at least we could maintain it, staff it, you know, build it out for 2 years minimum. You know, so and that would be a lot of money. Because it's New York City, but it would have the greatest comic shop in the world, and it would have great science fiction entries and classes for everybody, drawing, writing, all kinds of stuff. So that is basically the birthplace, and I have some trivia questions. Here's the first one. And I guess raise your hand and I'll pick you out, I guess is the idea. What is the name of the first kid gang that Kirby co-created with Joe Simon? Please raise your hand and I'll pick you. Sir, it is not.
Boy Commandos?
That is incorrect. Anyone else?
We can see it. It's not fair.
All right, you guys, I'll just keep blobbing and blobbing.
Is it the Dingbats of Danger Street?
If only it were.
Okay.
It is the Young Allies, the Sentinels of Liberty. So, the Toro and Bucky and you know, they were the first Simon and Kirby kid gang. So, here's another one. What? Don't show the pages. Okay, I'll stand over here.
What happens if somebody gets it right?
I had to go home.
Well, we got a goodie bag over there. There's a goodie bag of treats. You know, what can I tell you? What? What's happening?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Oh. All right.
Okay.
You got it. You did it.
This is
All right.
acting weird.
It is. Okay. The second question is, in what neighborhood do the Newsboy Legion have their adventures?
Lower East Side.
Don't turn around. Don't turn.
Suicide Slope.
You are correct. All right, let's give the man a Cupid doll. Let's see. How you doing? Good to see you. It's a galactic head pin.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna put it on right now.
Put it on. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to over. We're gonna head over to Suffolk Street. I don't know, what is it? 2 or 3 blocks over that way. Yeah, it does get weird. Oh, really? The dingbats. One of my favorites.
That was an unpublished page.
Oh, that's cool.
I've got that. I've got one page from Atlas. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
And I got one from Black Panther number 8.
Nice. All right, let's gonna cross over here.
Oh, really? Oh. Oh, really?
So, which birthday is this of Jack's?
105.
How about that?
I know. It's 1917.
17.
Yeah. And we just keep celebrating. I mean, it seems like we, since I'm here in New York Metro, it's like I'm over in Hoboken. So
Yes, I know.
it's fun to do these walking tours, man. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
We have a good time.
Already.
Right? One stop and already have a fan. All right.
Already
the school.
historic.
Oh, wow. The school is under wraps. What does that mean for our location? I feel bad. I'm so far away from the camera. I kind of want to see if any. Yeah, come on up front with me because I want to react to. I guess some people are probably saying hello. Hey, folks. Oh, okay, it's Cuckoo and Son of Moon still happening. That's right. All right. I just wanted to be sure. I think can I scroll back in time on the chat? I can. Richard Mancini, good to see you. I know, Scott. The dingbats are fantastic. Richard. We are on the Lower East Side. Oh no, we're just over Suffolk by the school, Richard. The basket. I guess it's the basketball court. The parking garage here at this school over by what would be 131 Suffolk. I know the trivia is not working on the live stream, only in person. Okay, let's see. Lots of great chat. All right. Okay, so this is kind of. Oh no, he's loud and he's live. Is he loud and live? Oh no, I thought it was loud. It's a block party. Okay, so this is kind of our usual stop. Let's back it up a little bit here. I'm so sorry about that. And I've lost the gimbal. Hello. Okay. So, if you were to ask Jack, what is going on with this thing? All right. Let's. I'm handing it back to you for now. I wanted to say hi to people. That's all. So, I know. This is. You're supposed to be looking at that. That's what you're.
I know, but
Okay, it's weird. So if you were to ask Jack and talk to Jack, he would say I was born on Essex Street, but I grew up on Suffolk, and the number is, thanks to the census records, where some really dogged researchers found Benny, Rose, and Jacob it says Cutsburg. I think if you put the search in on Ancestry.com, it was like cat's back or something. It was really hard to find. So I think it was either David Lawrence or Alex J. went through every page of the census around here to try to find the Catsburgs, or the Kurtzbergs, and found them at 131 Suffolk, which I think is right here where the school would be. So it's been knocked down, but this is the spot where, Jack grew up, where he was one of the Suffolk Street kids, one of the Suffolk Street boys. They would engage and have all kinds of shenanigans, play, handball, street ball, get into fights with each other, get in fights with kids from the other neighborhoods. The Italian kids would fight the German kids, would fight the Jewish kids, would fight the black kids. I mean, because that's what you did. Because it's the Lower East Side and the ghetto in the 1920s and early 30s. So let's see. Let's see what we've got here, because we're gearing up to the live reading of the street code, which is a treat. So here is 131 Suffolk on that tax map photo from 1939, 1940. And you can see the monument store. And I think 131 actually, 129 is the monument store. So 131 was even knocked down when this thing was taken. I think there's another photo where that building exists where Jack grew up. But that was in 1940. This is what it looked like. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so one of the great things, he really, 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 really worked his ass off to get out of the Lower East Side. He hated it here, felt it was inhumane. I said that before, I'm gonna say it again. And he never wanted to come back. Like, people would come there, a friend, James Romberger, who was like an artist, an art gallery in the East Village and the Lower East Side in the 80s, comic book guy. He and his wife went to a Comic-Con, saw Jack and said, you should come back to the Lower East Side. We got all kinds of galleries happening. There's all kinds of great artists. Jack, you can almost, he felt like he could almost tell Jack's face went pale and was like, no. And I think there might have even been another anecdote where they did drive around, Jack and Roz, with somebody, and it was like, can we get the hell out of here, please? It's just, there's nothing really to come back to for him. He wanted to, take care of his family, live a better life, and it was just not going to happen living the urban scenario here, particularly the low income urban stuff that was going on here. So he did eventually, obviously he got himself out. We did walking tours in Brooklyn and Nassau County yesterday on Long Island, to the places there, and then to California. But one of the things about Jack that if you met him and you socialized with him, like at a convention, at his table, if things were like a little calm, or you were lucky enough to go out for a meal with him after a convention, or have some lunch with him, or visit him at his house, he would always tell stories about World War II. His experiences in World War II was even more horrific than the experiences he had on the Lower East Side. And the Lower East Side was bad enough. He was identified as somebody who could draw. He was identified as somebody who could understand German because of his Yiddish-speaking family. Guess what? Go behind enemy lines and draw the positions of the tanks. Really, really dangerous stuff. He had, killed Nazis with his bare hands, saw, people explode to the point where he got so shocked by it, and he had his own creative mind that he would look at the pattern of the blood and the entrails and see a design. It was just not great. And then he got he got frostbite in his feet. So he was really lucky that he was able to come home in one piece, and continue his career and his marriage and just his life. But one time in the late 70s, early 80s, I'm just going to back up for a sec. There was a gentleman in California named Richard Kyle. Richard Kyle was a real smart comic book maven who ran a comic shop in Long Beach, California, and was involved in bringing, with other people, bringing some of the first Japanese manga to the United States. He published what we would call maybe a prozine at the time, called Graphic Story World, where people say, oh, that's where the first time that the word graphic novel was ever used was in one of Richard Kyle's prozines. So he was a real smart cookie, and he loved comics, and he sold really cool comics in his shop. So he and Jack and Roz are hanging out one time after a convention, and Jack starts into the old war stories. and Roz just turns to him and goes, Jack, come on, how about something else? And he told a story about growing up on the Lower East Side. And what happened was that Richard Kyle had just purchased the rights to publish a periodical with the name Argosy. And Argosy was an old school magazine that old school magazine people would know that name, right? And so he got the rights. He was going to bring back Argosy magazine. So he said, Jack, that story you just told is the best thing I've ever heard you do. Why don't you just draw that, and I'll pay you to draw it, and you'll own all the rights, and you will do whatever you want. Just make that thing happen. And he wrote a story called Street Code. And that's the story that he told, and it's a 10-page story. And I know we've got some salsa going on, but I think we should still do it. So we're gonna kind of lay out these pages here, I guess just along the wall, and some of them, and they flip right on, and then this. So they're all hermetically sealed because it was raining last year. So we put them all in plastic. And all right, so I'm so humble. I'm taking on the role of the narrator and Jake. So I'm gonna start this thing up. It was a time when Europe was still visible to your parents. It was an ugly corner where ethnic tempers flared. It was a logjam of human beings clinging to life by the raw realism of the street code. Written by Jack Kirby. Written and drawn by Jack Kirby. I'm going out, Ma. Not to bum around, understand. Oh. Mom.
Where are you?
Right here.
Not to bum around, understand? Not to listen to the bums, hear me?
Hey, Ma. I'm only going to play some handball. I'll be back in time for supper. You know that.
Sure, I know.
So then he grabs her a roll.
That's me again? Where
Yep,
am I?
you're up here.
Okay. Stop it. If you want a hot roll, ask me.
You want to make more, Mom? She was really a softie and turned to spare me the embarrassment of her lingering glance.
Oh. Just be home when supper's on the table.
You bet, Ma. I'm going now. I could feel it inevitably return and warm my back when I left the apartment. My mother was a handsome woman, but hard times were beginning to extract a hard price. Although they fought to stay alive with their psyches, the slum dwellers crumbled physically, transformed by tenements, hall toilets, and the high esteem of low salaries. Can I hold your bag, your shopping bag, Mrs. Brenner?
Thank you.
How's
How's your mama?
feeling good?
Such a good boy.